Hello, everybody. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Today we have a lot of interesting and exciting things happening on News Rules. So let's get ready. Let's begin with DJ Lay It Down.
Miss Prayo, thank you so much. Here we go. We're going to have a great time today. It's Wednesday, and you already know it's Roos 5. You already know the vibes. Today is Wednesday, March 16th, 2022. Today is a day 6 on our scheduled DSS. May everyone please stand for the pledge. Oh, today Miss Lowe's feeling a little older. Oh, all right. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Ooh. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Woo-woo. All right. So our fact for today, the tribe used to be combined with another tribe that was called the Maiken, I think. I don't know the pronunciation, but I'll check with Miss Hill because she's my brains, you know. But so shout out to the Roos 5 Club for the fact for today. They've been giving me the website and bringing up the facts, so shout out to them. Quick announcement for students and teachers: please take all notes and COVID tests down to the office. In the office for the COVID test, the blue bag is right outside the main office. But I will not be making my rounds this morning, so please take all notes and COVID tests down to the office. Health and safety. I just would like to do a little health and safety reminder. Please make sure when you sneeze and cough to cover up, cover up like this so that we can be safe, okay? Por favor, asegúrese de que cuando estornude y tosa se cubra para que podamos estar seguros, okay? So we just want to be safe, all right? And just make sure also to keep your hands to yourself, right? Hands and feet and any objects to yourself, okay? Oh, wait, I'm going to bring in Miss Valentine for this portion of Roos News. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So we're super excited because we have moved from the top 16 finalists for our Roosevelt mascot down to the Elite 8. So these are your 8 finalists. We have the cute cat, aw, the chicken nugget, ice cream guy, moose, rattlesnake, the phoenix, red panda, or the rhino. We're going to continue voting during your time in stream class. So this week we are voting and we will be moving forward the top 4 for our final 4 that will be announced next week. So stay tuned and make sure you have in mind what you want to vote for. I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Ms. Valentine. I really appreciate that. Yeah, this is awesome. Also, my favorite food is on here. I love chicken nuggets, so love that one too. Thank you. All right. Our Roos News Spotlight for today is David A. from Miss Forehand's class. David is a marvelous member of our Roos News 5 program. He's the type to get the job done right away and is so supportive of the other members. He shines in our room and outside and is an incredible person in general. So if you see David, give him some love. Excellent member. Oh, you already know what time it is. It's time for lunch. Almuerzo. Choice number 1 is a yogurt and bagel. Choice number 2 is a cheese sandwich. And choice number 3 is a hot dog. All right, en español, opción número 1 es yogur y bagel o pan. Opción número 2 es un sándwich de queso. Y opción número 3 es un perrito de caliente. So please choose wisely. What you pick in the morning is what you get in the afternoon. And make sure you order. If you did not order yet and something is up with your computer, please let your teacher know so they can get in contact with me as soon as possible. And our trivia / life hack for today: what can you put on a button so it does not come off? I'll give you a hint. It is not glue. What can you put on a button that does not come? So make sure it does not come off. I am done here. Ms. Prayo, over to you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing, DJ Lay It Down. Thank you so much.
Gotcha.
So today I have the pleasure of introducing our OSSINING historian, Miss Joyce Sharrock Cole. She is going to be here talking to us about our wonderful history. But most importantly of all, we want to thank Miss Cole because she has been an amazing partner with our students all the way from the high school, all the way through Claremont School, Roosevelt School, First Steps, the public library. She is one of the outstanding members of our community, and we are so excited to welcome her. Hoy le quiero presentar a la señora Joyce Shara Cole, que es una historiadora de aquí de Ossining. Y estamos muy contentos y orgullosos de que ella está aquí. Ella trabaja con todos los niños y en la escuela pública, en la high school, en la biblioteca. Así que ella es una persona muy querida. So we want to welcome you. Thank you so much for coming on to News Rules.
Thank you. Good morning, Roosevelt. So I have a great surprise for everyone today. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Let's see if this works. Can you see my screen?
We don't see it yet.
Let's see.
Do you see the button at the bottom that says share with a little plus?
Yeah, I did that and it did not. Yeah, let's see. Let's see again. Let's try share screen.
Thank you so much for your patience, Roosevelt School, for your patience.
Yes,
Send it
thank
to me
you.
by email and I could maybe share it on my screen.
Sure. Let
Okay.
me, I did do, let's see. I did upload it a different way. We're going to lose some cool graphics, but that might be, it'll be okay. Sorry, everyone, that it's taken a little longer than usual.
Oh.
Maybe if I do email it to you. It says it's processing, but it's taking a while.
No problem.
While we are waiting, if everyone can get a piece of paper and write down what year you think that Roosevelt School was built, and we'll see if you're right. I am forwarding this to you now.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like it uploaded.
Oh.
Do you see it?
Yes, we see it. Perfect.
Great. Okay.
All right, let's get ready, boys and Roosevelt scholars. Thank you.
Yes. So, how do I move my, let's see. Oh, there we go. So what year do you think that Roosevelt School was built? Of the four choices. So I don't have my beautiful graphics to show you, but if you picked 1922, you are absolutely right. Roosevelt School was built in 1922, and here is a picture of Roosevelt in 1929. What do you think looks different today? Look at the picture and think about what the school looks like today, and there are some differences. The school was named after Franklin Delano Roosevelt, our 32nd president, that came to Ossining to give a speech years before. And I'm going to show you a few pictures of students at Roosevelt School over the years, over the decades. This is a class in 1930 outside. And this is the yearbook of 1932 to 33. And you guys are doing a great job by picking a mascot now, because this yearbook could have really used one. But look how easy, and like it's just a simple piece of paper and it's written in with the typewriter that we don't use today. And this is the 1935 ceremony for the new addition that you have on the building today. And you see it over in the right-hand side here, the new addition. And then some more students. This is a class in 1940. This is the class of 1978. I was only 2 years old when this class was there. And these are the faculty members in the 70s. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you a story today about the life and journey of Lewis Brady. And there's a reason why his name is crossed out, but we'll get to that a little later. So if you've ever been down to Arcadian where the Stop and Shop is, and you ever pass this house, I want you all to write this down: 14 Rockledge Avenue. Because when you go past this house, you're going to sound really smart when you're able to tell the story of the man that lived in the house. Lewis Brady, you see here, this is his tombstone. He died when he was 108 years old. He is the oldest person that is buried in our historic Sparta Cemetery in Ossining. And in 1880, the year before he died, he left a story about his life and his journey to Ossining. And we found out that he was born a slave. We didn't have any pictures of him because of the time, but they talked about what he looked like. And this is when he was 107. So imagine a 107-year-old man. They said he was really tall and he was intelligent looking. Negro is the word that they used for Black people in that time period. Remember, we're talking about 1880. They said his hair was white as snow and his shoulders were rounded, and he was unable to read and write, but he was a very fair and honest man. So if you can like draw a picture, and I'm looking for someone to draw me a great picture of what you think Lewis Brady looked like. Now, he was born in 1773. That's not wrong. He was born in 1773, a really long time ago. And he was born in Kent County, Maryland. Here's the cool part. His mother was born a slave. His dad was born a slave. And and you notice the name says Noah because he was born Noah and not Lewis. His father was the slave of George Washington, our first president. And Noah spent a lot of time on the Mount Vernon plantation, which was owned by George Washington in Virginia. On December 14th, 1799, President George Washington died, and Noah was 26 years old at that time, but he went to the funeral. And here is George Washington's funeral. In 1812 to 1814, I'm telling you the dates because I want you to look and see how old he was when these things were happening. So Noah was 39 years old, and he was in the war. So you notice I said he didn't fight in the war. He was in the War of 1812. And the reason why I say he wasn't in the war is because he was still a slave, and the man that owned him fought in the war. And slaves were not allowed to fight in the War of 1812. They were body servants of the men that owned them, which meant that he had to protect the man that owned him, but he wasn't considered as fighting in the war, even though he probably had to. It's very confusing, but that's what he had to do. So he didn't get credit. So at 1820, he had a new owner. When his owner that was in the war died, he went to someone else and they owned him. And that man kept calling him Lewis. So eventually he called him Lewis so much that he changed his name from Noah to Lewis. And at this point, he's 47 years old. He worked in a grist mill in Dover, Delaware. And then someone told him that night, they're going to sell you. Your owner is going to sell you. He needs to make money. So they took Noah down to the slave auction, and then they turned him around, and Noah thought in his head, I don't want to be sold. So he pretended to be sick, and he just passed out on the floor. But he was only pretending because he didn't want them to sell him. And he said in his letter to us, when he did the interview, that night I lit out and I never went back again either. So that means that night he self-emancipated himself, which means he set himself free from slavery by running away. Now, how did he do it? And this is the most exciting part of the story for me, and I hope it is for you. How many of us learned about the Underground Railroad? But did we know anyone that lived in our community that used it to get here? Well, Lewis Brady came by way of the Underground Railroad to get to Ossining, and I'm going to tell you how he did it. He went for Dover, Delaware, and he walked to Chester County, Pennsylvania. And he stayed there for a season with a Quaker preacher. And he stayed for that season. I don't know if it was fall or spring or winter, but he stayed there and he worked on his farm until he was able to save money. And then he walked again, this time to Bucks County, Pennsylvania. He stayed with this family of Quakers until he was able to make some money and save it. And then he walked again to Trenton, New Jersey. Then he stayed there and then he worked some more. And then he walked to New Brunswick, New Jersey. Then he stayed there and he worked some more. Then he walked to Elizabethtown and he stayed there and he worked some more until he tried to board a ferry. He was trying to get to Staten Island, to Sandy Ground. And that's where all the runaway slaves were going that were freeing themselves. Remember what was the word? Self-emancipation. They were trying to free themselves. And they were starting a community called Sandy Ground in Staten Island. But when he tried to get on the ferry, the captain said, "I'm not taking any more runaways, so you cannot go to Sandy Ground." So he was really upset and he had to figure out a new plan. So in 1828, now he's 55 years old, he ends up going to Tarrytown. So he changed the route on the Underground Railroad. There were a lot of different routes, and he ended up in Tarrytown, New York. There he met his wife. They had a kid, and he says, "Wow, I need my own house now." So then he starts looking for a house, and where do you think the house is? He married, this is his wife, him and Sarah. But then they found a house in 1836 in Ossining on Rockledge Avenue. And this is actually the deed, which is the piece of paper that told us that they purchased the house from someone and they bought it in cash. He saved enough money from all that traveling to buy a house in cash. And the house is still there today in our historic Sparta district, which is near like Starbucks and Stop and Shop. So if you write it down, 14 Rockledge Avenue, ask your parents to drive you by his house because it's still there and his name is on the house. So what did he do for money? How did he live? Well, he was a boatman. He was an oysterman and he had clams. So he bought a boat and he went to the dock and he went up and down from Sing Sing to New York City selling his oysters. And they started to call him Captain Brady. So that's how he got the name Captain Brady. It wasn't from the war, it was from the fact that he had a boat and they always saw him working really, really hard down there with his oysters and clams. So they started to call him Captain. So in 1880, he was 107 years old. Can you believe that? 107. And he did an interview with a reporter and talked about the story of his life. And that's how we're able to tell that story about him today. But sadly, the next year in 1881, Captain Brady, Lewis Brady, Uncle Lou, or Noah died at 108 years old. But he lived a really long life. But he lived in Ossining for a very long, over 60 years after that long journey of emancipation of setting himself free from slavery. He made our home and your home his home, and his house is still there today. So that's the house today. If you drive by 14 Rockledge Avenue, you can now tell the story of the man that lived in the house. That is the same exact house. No one has ever touched it or made it different. It's a historic house, so they can't. So that is exactly what he lived in the day that he told us that story. So thank you for listening to the story of Lewis Brady.
Miss Cole, I cannot wait to drive by that house and see
Yeah.
firsthand where Captain Brady lived. That was absolutely fascinating story about our own history in our town.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing. I
Welcome.
cannot wait to talk to our students about that. today and every day if we possibly can. I'm going to bring back all of our News Rules colleagues here, and we're going to say goodbye and have everybody a great Wednesday. Thank you
Yes.
so much, everybody.
Take care.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye-bye.